Good morning, everybody. I am Bear with BearIndependent.com. This morning, we are going to talk about Trump, Iran, and the New World Order, man. The Illuminati, the Council on Foreign Relations, or whatever. And to a lesser extent, the UN, United Nations. The reason we are going to talk about this has less to do than with current events, Trump and Iran, than it does to do with current emails in my inbox, because a bunch of y'all are losing your stuff over nothing, says me. I would be much more concerned as an American about Virginia than I would be about Iran right now. Subject to change at any moment, because all it takes is one idiot behaving poorly to recreate the parameters of our world, right? NWO Prepper. Y'all watch him? You should. I do. Next. I've gotten a lot. And when I say a lot, I don't mean like one or two. I mean like dozens of emails in the last several days about the United Nations and their peacekeeping mission, and that the UN, is recruiting for DDRs. I don't remember what DDR stands for. Isn't a DDR a Navy destroyer, diesel destroyer? Was a diesel destroyer, but I digress. Basically, gun confiscation officers and officers to make sure that people behave appropriately when weapons are trying, or they try to confiscate weapons. The best words, tremendous. Believe me, Mexico paid for this border fence right here in between my yard and my thicket. Yay, Melania's beautiful. So these DDR officers that the UN is recruiting for in New York, I've gotten a lot of correspondence about that. Bear, what do you think? What I think is the same thing I have thought and been on record as saying for at least the last year, maybe two. This boogaloo everybody's talking about, I'm of the opinion that by the elections in 2020, if not the inauguration in 2021 of whoever wins, one half of the country is going to be pissed off at the other half of the country, and things are going to get a little interesting. Take that and use that however you would like to. Moving on to the Illuminati, because I've gotten several emails that have had YouTube links in them that are like, Bear, you must watch this. First of all, I must do nothing. There's not a thing today or any day that I must do. Thank you much. Next, I have literal dozens of friends and loved ones in real life that have YouTube channels. I don't have the bandwidth to watch all of their stuff. And I know them in real life and I love them. So I'm really selective with what I watch on YouTube. Really selective. And if it starts with, you were born into the corporation of the United States of America and your social security is your tracking number and loans have been taken out against you as your tracking number, and the corporation of the United States has a life insurance policy on you and that policy number is your social security number and you are a slave in the machine and blah, blah, blah. All right, let's talk about that. And then that turns into, and because of that, the Council on Foreign Relations is going to XYZ, WZB, QRX9er, and they're going to blah, 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 blah. And see, the way that this relates to the Illuminati is because see, Horus and Isis back in the day in Egypt, and out of that came what we call the modern day Levant, and then blah, blah. What are you going to do about it? That's my problem with all of this. But especially the Illuminati conspiracy theory, whatever. And hey, is it true? Don't know. Intellectually, on some level, I'm curious. But practically, could care less. Could care less. Two reasons why. One, a lot of y'all are using all of that conspiracy theory bullshit as permission to not actually do anything in your daily life, to not actually try and affect positive change on your life, because the Illuminati, man, just can't win, man. Well, ever since we got off the gold standard, yeah, and I agree, should have never got off the gold standard. Well, we shouldn't be in these wars. What are you going to do about it? Well, I could never get out of my, it's the system, man. We're just spinning on the hamster wheel, man. I hate my job, but I got to do it. No, you don't. Just like there's nothing today that I must do. If you can actually shift your paradigm away from there's somebody, an amorphous somebody somewhere that's controlling your life, that you have to play ball according to them, you need to get out of that mindset. It's deeply destructive, because what that does is creates an out for you that you don't have to take personal responsibility. When you should be stacking food to the rafters, fellowshipping with people you love, training with your weaponry that in case of tyranny actual, building your intelligence network, which really means building your community of the people around you, fortifying your positions of strength, communing with the Most High Yah, reading His Word, doing all of the things that you can do, other than sit around and pontificate about, well, the Council on Foreign Relations, and then blah, 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 blah. Cool story, bro. Is it intellectually interesting? Yeah, ish, a little bit. Does it actually affect your life? You should not let it. You should not let it. And that's my point. If that is affecting your daily life, either there are things that you are deeply neglecting in your daily life because you're spending time on these things, or you lead a pretty boring and unfulfilled life, says me. You should change it in either case. In either case. Go do something actually positive. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The way that you deal with anxiety is through action. If you're actually concerned about this stuff, do something. Quit talking about it. Move from, Babylon, wherever you live, whether it's, Georgia or Dallas or New York or LA or pick one, Prescott, Arizona, whatever. Get out of there, get out into the country where you can do things like build your own construction projects without a permit, have your food in your front yard, grow your own veggies, take positive action, build your community. And community is what you make it. Conditions are what you make them. I'll give you an example. This hoodie is from interstatesteelfab.com. Thank you, brother. This Carhartt is from Gordon at the APN. Thank you, brother. These pants that I'm wearing are Marpat. They come from Asymmetrical Preparedness. Thank you, brother. The socks that I have on were a recommendation. These are covert threads, by the way. They're tremendous. And they came on a recommendation from the Repentant Yankee. Thank you, brother. That's just what I have on right now. The Glock on my hip was a recommendation from another brother within the tribe. Thank you, brother. Conditions are what you make them. These gloves, contrary to popular belief, I do work for a living. So, yes, these gloves are mine. And this is not a glove review. The time that I spend with the people I want to spend it with, which is why I can say unequivocally, there's nothing that I must do today, because I am in charge of what I do today. Praise Yah. I am extremely intentional with my time. There are things that I do that others would consider a sacrifice, that to me, it's worth driving 4 hours round trip to spend 2 hours with a brother. Well, it's a poor use of your time. Is it? Or should I sit around worrying about, Bohemian Grove or the adrenochrome crisis or, come on. What's an actual waste of my time? Investing 6 hours of my day to spend 2 hours with a brother is not a waste of my time, because now, I hate to get scriptural on you. A friend is there in good times and bad, but a brother is built for adversity. That's why we have them. So that when the boogaloo kicks off, you're wondering who you're going to put your back up against so you can go do the things. I don't have to wonder. And that comes from forging actual relationships. So, the UN, peacekeeping, remotely, it's not a concern. I'm aware of it. We'll see. I've been saying for a long time it's coming. Hey, guess what? It's coming. Trump and Iran, you know, we'll come back around to that. That'll be where we'll go next. The whole conspiracy theory, Illuminati, social security number, blah, 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 bullcrap. Is it true? And here's what you need to understand, brief aside, here's what you need to understand. Intelligence is both, has been both confirmed and is actionable. You watching a YouTube video, any YouTube video, including this one, this is not intelligence. This is at best hearsay. Intelligence is something that you can confirm, hopefully independently, from multiple sources, and is actionable. You can do something with it other than sit around and posit theories on the internet. Now, again, intellectually, is it interesting? Sure. Is it a good use of your time? It's not a good use of my time. Iran and Trump. This is something that actually bears watching. Not because it's an immediate issue, but it has the potential to become one. I'm glad. Glad's perhaps not the word. I feel good that we responded the way we responded. Is there a possibility for retaliation? I'd say much more so if you're Israel than if you're the United States. However, even Iranian retaliation in Israel can create some hiccups in our already precariously tilting economy and logistics here in the United States. So what do you actually do practically? Stock up on food. Stock up on oil products if you can. Fill your gas cans, fill your vehicles. Practice your protocols. Hey man, when the balloon goes up, I'm gonna. You're not gonna nothing unless you've practiced it. Okay? So go practice it. Get a hold of your buds. Hey man, this is our pre-boogaloo checkoff list, and here's the operations orders, and here's what we're gonna do, and here's the mission profile I've put together. Cool, go do it. Really, go do it. Great time. Watching one of my sheep mount another sheep. This gets them all turned on in the Middle East. I could be live streaming this, making tens of thousands of dollars right now. Only problem is it was a girl sheep on top of a boy sheep. Maybe it's gender confused. I don't know. I'll have to get the HR department out there in the front paddock and sit them down and have a discussion. Maybe I need a third bathroom out there. I don't know. Iran. If war with Iran kicks off, what can we do about it? The same things we should already be doing. Basic preparedness covers all of the potential situations that one might encounter. You're always going to need to eat. You're always going to need to drink. You're always going to need to poop. You always need a place to live. You always need security. You always need fuel. You always need people. So rather than the specifics of, here's what we need to do because Iran is there, with all the knife hands, and let me get out my laser pointer and refer you to slide 36. Keep doing what you're doing. And don't get all spun up in the hype. And perhaps that is the crux of all of this. Don't get all spun up in the hype, because A, There's nothing you can do about it. Not a damn thing. You have no control over Iran or the US or Israel and how all these different players respond to one another. Nothing. Not a damn thing you can do about it. You have zero control over the Illuminati or the Council on Foreign Relations or the Deep State, man, or the Corporation of the United States of America. And Q's gonna help Trump take back the country. Stop. Stop. A, those people don't need cheerleaders if they actually exist. And B, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. And this is not a defeatist attitude, it's realism. Realism. How much food have you put up this month? How many times have you pressed the trigger this month? How many push-ups have you done this month? How many times have you gone out of your way to be a benefit to somebody else this month? See? Have you planned your garden yet? Have you thought about what you're going to do when the grid goes down, how you're going to produce power? How much firewood do you have cut, or heating oil, or propane do you have stacked away? Do you have the mantles in your lanterns on your little propane Coleman lanterns? Right? We're going to cull roosters today. We're going to shoot them in the head, chop their heads off, bleed them, scald them, pluck them, gut them, bag them. When was the last time you did that? See? That's what I mean. But it's so much easier to sit and pontificate and worry than it is to stand and take personal responsibility and take action. Don't let anybody else dictate what you gotta do today because the Illuminati or Trump or Iran or Paradigm shift. Get out of that box. Get into your own box. My box is really big. All jokes aside, Marines, all jokes aside. I hope this video was a benefit to at least one of y'all. Conditions are what you make them. Don't let anybody else make your conditions for you. Take personal responsibility. It's all on you, which is good. Because when the weight of the world sits right here, guess what? I can do something about it. Shalom, y'all.